Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is John Michael, and we are exposing the biggest crime in the history of humanity. Literally, the biggest crime in the history of humanity. And I'm speaking to you out of concern, right? I'm concerned because a lot of my classmates, let's say, for example, my classmates, they had intact families, right? So for example, the husband and wife were together, right? This is not, I'm not talking about some divorced parents or anything. I'm talking about married couples, right? So many of them, I can count a whole bunch here, more than my fingers, and they're not going to have any grandchildren at all, right? So they will never have grandchildren. So when it comes time to putting your name, or who are you going to put in your will, there's not going to be any name there because there's no grandchildren. There literally is no grandchildren. So the people that are my age, they will just never have any children, right? And it's, yeah, I understand it's happening all over the world and all this stuff, but why is this happening? And one of the reasons is, of course, the birth control pill. Well, the birth control pills is a pillar for human rights, and it stands against women's rights and all this stuff, and, pregnant and barefoot in the kitchen and all this stuff. Listen, that's okay. You want to go that route, but you're forgetting something very important. The birth control pill does not actually prevent the ovulation from occurring, and it doesn't stop the sperm 100% of the time. Maybe it does sometimes, but it doesn't prevent the sperm 100% of the time to meet with that egg, the oocyte. Yeah, and the oocyte will actually literally select the best sperm, and then boom, the sperm will be penetrated into the egg, and then the new genetic code there will be activated. It's such a beautiful process. If you don't believe in intelligent design, you certainly just didn't look at embryology, because you're just, what are you watching, documentaries on the History Channel or something like that? So Charles Darwin's theory of evolution is complete nonsense. I mean, if you're still in that, there's nothing I can do to help you. I mean, you're still a fool. Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, Georges Lemaitre's Big Bang Theory, and all this stuff, and of course the heliocentric cult. I mean, that's nonsense. It's nonsense. The heliocentric cult is nonsense. It's caused the death of so many. It's atheism. It's all it is. There's no God, even though I'm a living, breathing proof of the intelligent design myself. I mean, that's not nonsense. Intelligent design there is no debate against intelligent design. I mean, you can try. I mean, we could sit there and argue with fools all day long if you want to, but that's nonsense. I mean, if you're going to think, right? Where did you get? You're a biological supercomputer, biological, mega supercomputer beyond any kind of, imagination that you can even imagine how to even begin to describe, let alone understand. You're a biological supercomputer. Your value is immense, and then you live in a world, a sick, twisted world where this Earth is a spinning ball and all this stuff, and there's millions of aliens and everything, and we're worthless. We're completely worthless, and the dinosaurs and all this stuff. Okay, well that's nonsense. Okay, it's the intelligent design, 100%. The humans are intelligently designed. The DNA is proof of that. The baby is the most precious and most valuable asset, from the bottom of the trench in the deepest part of the ocean to the top of the mountains to the top of the clouds. I mean, there's nothing more valuable than a baby, right? How can you go ahead and destroy this baby? I mean, it's just nonsense. And what kind of world are you living in? I'll tell you which kind of world you're living in, Dr. Michelle Dow. You're living in a world where this round spinning ball. Okay, we live in a round spinning ball. Yeah, and if you want to go up there, well, you got to go to your master, which is the Canadian Space Agency, and you got to go there and you got to sing some songs in space. Miss American Pie, should have Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Yeah, in space, right? You're singing songs in space, right? But there's no explanation about how you actually went there, and there's no blueprints about the space suit, which I'd like to see, the blueprints of the space suit. It's a whole bunch of lies and heresy and all this stuff, right? So they're literally deceiving the public. I don't know. I mean, it's very clear. I mean, didn't you see the stories on social media, how it's very, very obvious that these people are just brainwashing everybody to believe that's a heliocentric cult? It's nonsense, right? So the truth, of course, is the Jewish conception of the universe, right? The ancient conceptions of how the world is. It's a geocentric model. That's the correct model. It's very, very obvious and evident that you can see that there is no globular shape to the Earth. I mean, that's nonsense, right? So I'm here so far away from my hometown. I'm literally 10,000 miles away from my hometown, and what am I like standing like here? Right? It's nonsense. This nonsense idea of heliocentric is a heresy. It's a heresy. It's just a cult. It's all it is. It's a prison for your mind. It's incredible. It's incredible how these people just believe it blindly. My own family is responsible for being employed and that kind of stuff. But I don't really care about heliocentrism. I care about the destruction of children based on heliocentrism, based on the fact that we're just animals and all this stuff, and it doesn't really matter if some of us die. Our worth is basically the difference between atheism, the atheism cult, and intelligent design, which is very very clearly there's a creator, the creator of the heaven and the earth, right, and that created man from the dust of the ground and breathed into our nostrils the breath of life, right, which is why I'm speaking right now, right. There is evidence of intelligent design in this video, right. So the video camera that it is right there in front of me that I'm speaking to, trying to get my thoughts out, has been intelligently designed, And then they're going to say this biological computer is just a revolutionary chance. It's laughable, but it's almost sad, man, how these people can get caught up in such a simple piece of, circuitry, like the camera is just, that's intelligent design. That's a pillar of technology. You know what's a pillar of technology? The epitome of real technological advancement is a biological supercomputer with a processing capacity of a human brain. Even my baby over there is smarter than that. This kind of phone thingy. I hate phones. Huh? I'm a computer guy. I hate phones. I just use the phone for recording. It's nonsense, right? If you're an evolutionist, if you're if you're a fool, an evolutionist fool, an atheist fool, right? There's nothing that can be done. There's absolutely nothing that can be done, and it's just a battle of good and evil, right? So, but I wish it wouldn't have to be so evil. I wish it wouldn't have to be so evil. I wish it wouldn't have to be so evil that she's gonna kill. Literally, I can't say for 100% sure. Okay, so we're trying to quantify the number of victims, right, that Dr. Dow is personally responsible for killing, that she would be, in a just and fair civilized society, would be guilty of murder, and a correct sentencing guideline would be for 25 years of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for 25 years, if served concurrently, for every child that she kills, right? So let's just try to quantify how many. At least one. There's at least one. There's at least one child that has died at the hands of Doctor. What? All she has to do. See, she doesn't even have to go and literally pull out the legs and squash the brain and the brain and the liver and the spleen and everything's just coming out of the mother, right? That's horrific and barbaric and cruel and unusual, and there's what did this baby do to deserve this penalty? I have absolutely no clue. It's just very very evil, but it goes beyond that. It's so easy for her. This is why it's so evil, because all she has to do is write her dirty signature on that prescription pad. There was a time that she had to literally write this elephant, gibberish, or the mosquito, what I mean. It looks like a. It looks like a. Well, I wouldn't say my child, because my child, she's an artist, right? She makes these pictures of a family. It's just really precious. Yeah, there was a time that she had to, write some gibberish, and then, but now, right, she just has to type it on the computer. The computer types it up, and I think she still puts her dirty signature on the prescription. But I don't know. I'm not a recipient of the prescription. I don't want to be. What's my what is the medical illness in need of correction, anyways? Right. So, but anyway, what I'm trying to say is that, in the starting of her career in the late 1980s, right, she had to go and say, whatever kind of dirty name that the pharmaceutical industry is going to put, and then she's going to write in mosquito gibberish, and then put her that is the actus reus. Okay, that is the actus reus. Okay, here putting the actual thing, because she knows No, in all seriousness, she knows that this is going to cause the death of a child. Like she knows it. Right? She's not ignorant. Right? She's not ignorant. She knows that this thing is going to cause the death of a child. That is literally the same thing as picking up a gun and squeezing the trigger while you're pointing it at a person's head. There's no difference. What difference is there? Right? What difference is there? It's for women's rights and standing up for the pillar of society. No, it's not. It's literally the same thing as pointing a gun and shooting in the head, or putting a match on fire and somebody's there tied up with the gag and everything. Help me, help me! You're putting the fire and you're burning them alive. Or it's the same thing as hijacking an airplane and crashing it down in the sky. There's no difference. There is literally no difference from her putting her dirty signature on the prescription pad and giving it, except that she can make money out of it. And she can stay out of prison and she can keep killing and killing and killing again and again and again and again. That's the only thing that's different. I mean, but you know, if somebody hears the gunshot, the police are going to intervene and say, "Hey, stop killing somebody," or you know, you see a house on fire, say, you know, stop killing people. And that's what I'm kind of trying to say is that you should, you know, but thankfully she's retired, and thank you for your years of service from the municipal government. Thank you very much for your years of service. We just can, you know, we're so very very thankful that you've what, fixed a few boo boos. Now she, something about the pap test. There's something fishy about the pap test. Okay, she's, you know, got the most pap tests in Nova Scotia or something. There's something really strange about the pap tests that I've examined preliminarily. But I'm not going to get into that. But it just, doesn't it seem strange to you? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, there's no real. Anyway, I'm not even gonna get there because it's not even important. If you're gonna do some pep tests, do some pep tests all you want. I don't really care because it's not my my baby that is being killed. I don't really care about that. If you want to do some pep tests, I don't know. It's fishy. I mean, it's just kind of fishy. This whole pep test thing, I did a little bit of study on that, and just the whole idea of it. You know, we're going to prevent it. It's all about prevention and all this stuff. And so what are you preventing? You're preventing life from occurring. You're preventing a baby from being implanted into. You're literally the only thing you're doing is killing the baby by preventing the implantation. That's literally all you're doing. Okay, yeah, okay. There's a time that it does prevent the actual pregnancy. Okay, and this whole thing about vaccines, man, I don't even want to go there. I shouldn't have said that because of YouTube's going to flag my thing. If I even start saying that, sorry about that. That's going to cause the death of my YouTube channel. The algorithm's so poor as it is. I don't even have any views, but I don't care. I don't care. The views is not important. The views does not matter at all. I'm certainly going to save all these videos, and there's going to be another generation that's going to. What year are we at? 2025. If you're watching this in the future, 2025. We're in the year 2025. It's a crazy year where it's been a while that you know the population of the Earth is you know, the women are just not having children, and I heard something very creepy today from my student. She was saying that she was in South Korea. Sorry, South Korea. North Korea is actually doing pretty well with that, but South Korea, and the women have these strollers, right? The strollers, and you look in there and you try to see a baby. There's a dog. Ugh, it sent shivers up and down my spine. Oh man, that's so creepy, and it's a very, very creepy thing. How creepy is that? You know, maybe North Korea has a point. Right? They want to isolate the Western culture, right? South Korea has been like westernized or whatever, and look what's happening. It's the lowest fertility rate ever, right? It's just kind of creepy, right? Just you know, it's frightening. It really is frightening to the point where I'm to understand the whole point of it, the whole gist of it, right? To even begin to understand how as much as I understand it, it just frightens me. And you know, is that a legit mental illness? Or do I really have a mental illness because of that? I would submit not. I just submit that I have a full understanding of the actual crime itself and the consequences of this crime, and how good it could have been if she just wouldn't have been born and she wouldn't have gone down this path, or just, you know, she would have just specialized and become like a surgeon or something like that, actually being a real doctor. There would have been so many more children and so many more babies and so many more families and so many more grandchildren. it would have been such a better world. And now we see this kind of weird kind of society, and it's all being replaced. We got Indian, we got Pakistan, we got Africans. It's a whole melting pot of culture, which is by design. But thank you very much for tuning in.